Good afternoon everyone and welcome to our second online class of health. This is for the 23rd and the 24th of March. So before we start today's class, I've got a few announcements to make. Tomorrow will be our first online Google Meet live session, and that is from 14:45 to 1500 hours. I've already sent the invite announcement on Classroom, so what you need to do is simply just click on the link that I've sent. It will not work on Safari. You have to open it on Google Chrome or Firefox. If you hear noises in the background, that is my daughter. She is watching Baby Shark, so I can do this, okay? So that's our live session tomorrow. I will also send the slides that go along with this class because I reference the book as well as the slides, and there will be a link for a Google quiz. It's just to check your understanding of what we're doing so far. Okay, so let's get crack-a-lacking. Guys, last week we looked at our self-esteem, self-image and self-efficacy. And there are going to be questions about that in the quiz that I've made you. So let's just do a quick refresh now. Self-esteem is how you think about yourself. Self-image. What's self-image, Mr. Ehiki? That's right. Self-image is how you think you look. Well, your characteristics as well as your appearance, but more characteristics. And self-efficacy is how well you think you can complete a challenge. So, guys, if you should already have this open. Open the slides link that I put in the description for today's class. You want to go to slide number 13, and that will be this one. Whee! Slide 13. And I want you to look at the next slide, slide 14. Guys, if you have your books, I hope you do. If you have your books, it's on page 40, okay? There's an image on page 40 and I want you all to take a look at. I'm going to hold it up here and you can pause it on the image, okay? So, pause. What did you see? Really? Okay. Some of you may see a duck. When I first looked at it, I saw a duck. And then I looked a bit harder and I saw a bunny rabbit. So guys, there's no right or wrong answer as to what you see, but we're all different people, so some of us will see different things before others. Different people have different perspectives on different issues in life. So for example, the coronavirus, some people are taking it very seriously and staying indoors and haven't been out of their building for a long time, whereas other people are more casual and don't quite give it the same level of importance. So we may see situations with a positive outcome, and some of them we may see it, so other people may view it with a negative outcome. I want you to look at the next slide, slide 15. Slide 15, it has lots of different faces on it, guys. I'm going to show you the image, and then you can pause it. I'm going to flip the camera around, actually. How do I flip? Oh, I can't flip. Right, guys, can you see all these faces? I want you to press pause now, and then while you're paused, identify the emotions. Pause. Boom. Oh. Okay, guys, so now that you've unpaused, which emotions did you see? Did you see anger? I saw anger. You see pride. You see sadness, surprise, happiness. I see a lot of them. Guys, these are just a handful of emotions. There are more. Most of the time, emotions, the older you get, are easy to interpret. So for example, a child, a baby, they can identify maybe 2 or 3. Happiness and sadness or anger. But as you get older, you have the ability to identify more. Some people hide their emotions. Some of us wear our emotions on our sleeve, which means you make it very clear and obvious for people to see. A person of good health is able to understand their emotions, recognizing and Acknowledging those emotions is a sign of a good mental and emotional health. Your response to those emotions can affect your health triangle. For example, if you react in an aggressive way, maybe perhaps mentally and emotionally you're not where you should be. If you don't take a moment to think about the situation, work through it in your head and then react. If you react like that, like a bullet from a gun, then probably very often your reaction you will come to regret afterwards. Now I know a lot of people think, oh, feeling low or feeling negative sometimes is bad. It's not always. It's not. For example, when something bad happens, maybe if you lose a loved one, you will feel sad. That's not a negative thing, but it's how we react to things. So there can be appropriate and healthy responses, even having negative... Olive! Shh. In silence, please. Okay? So there can be appropriate and healthy responses. Moving on, guys. If you go to page 41, 42, or slide 17, I want you to brainstorm. There's a little chart there. I want you to brainstorm a few ways that we can respond to negative emotion, but in a positive way. Okay? So it says, fill in the blanks with possible positive responses. And the first one is done for you. So this is the chart. Yours will be in color. So it says anger. Lash out and cause harm to someone, either verbally or physically. And then the positive response is to fight to solve a problem or injustice in the world. That's an example. Anxiety. A negative response would just be to avoid a situation or to avoid a situation or problem. If you avoid something, you're not dealing with it. So I would say a positive response would be looking at the situation, looking at your different options available to you, evaluating them, and then facing the situation or the problem. Because if you avoid it, you're never going to fix it or solve it. I want you to work through guilt, jealousy, hate, and embarrassment. So you can pause this video now and do it, or you can do it at the end, but please make sure you do it. So if you want to pause now. Okay. So once you've filled that in, we're going to just quickly look at anger. I don't know if any of you have seen the Disney Pixar film Inside Out, but it was quite an interesting way they depicted all the different emotions that we have going on in our brains. So many emotions we see or feel on the surface are actually caused by a different emotion. Let's look at anger. We often respond in anger. Our muscles tense, our blood pressure rises, and we shout, etc. But another emotion is causing the reaction. I want you to look at the diagram, guys, that I've posted on slide 18. So it shows an iceberg, and so this would be the sea level, and above the iceberg, above the sea level, you only see this much of the iceberg. So it's anger. So just like the iceberg, when we are angry, there are other emotions under the surface that cause our anger. So this is the sea level, and this is what's going on underneath. This is the rest of the iceberg. You've got frustration, confusion, sadness, withdrawal, disappointment, hurt. So once you identify the source of your emotion, you should communicate it to others in a productive way and not just lash out, okay? So guys, I want you to try this exercise. Let's practice identifying underlying emotions, Olive. So I want you to read the example on the left and then complete the steps below, okay? So this is the slide we're on, slide 19 now. So it's got an example of 3 steps, and then you have to do your own one on page 43 in the boxes, okay? So I want you to pause now. Okay, now that you've done that exercise, remember this is a personal course, personal scenarios, so I don't want you just to make things up. Use examples from real life, guys. Next slide, slide number 20. Many emotions can be challenging to express in a positive way. Think of a list of emotions that can be challenging. Now, for what's challenging for Enrique may not be challenging for Louisa. Why do you think these emotions are challenging for you to express in positive ways? Okay, have a think. Have a think. You can pause the video if you need to have a think longer. I encourage it. Now, guys, in the next slide, I've posted a YouTube video. It's about I statements and you statements. It's not a long video. It's about 2 minutes long. If you click on the video itself, it will start exactly where I wanted it to start, which is 14 seconds in. So I'm going to let you press pause now so you can watch the video. So 1, 2, 3, pause. So guys, I statements and you statements. It's a more effective way to communicate because it's less confrontational and more conversational. You are going to do an exercise using this. So if you turn to page 44 or 45 or slide 22, you will see some examples of you statements and I statements, okay? So for example, a you statement could be, you don't hang out with me enough, but an I statement would be, I feel happy when you come to visit because I enjoy your company. I would like to set a date for us to go out to lunch together soon. Now, you guys are going to have to do the example, which is on the right-hand side of the page. So the you statement that you have to turn into an I statement is the following. You were rude to me at the football match last night. How would you change that into an I statement? Okay, you're going to fill that in just a couple of minutes. I've got another scenario or an exercise for you to do. I want you to come up with your own example of a you statement, and then I want you to come up with an I statement to correct it. Okay, so I want you to press pause now so you can do those two I statements and you statements. Pause. Okay, unpause.
What does it mean?
Shh. Next up, guys, we're going to be looking at, I know we're going through things at quite a pace today, but I don't want us to fall behind just because we're not in school. Okay, so if you turn to page 46, you will see a beautiful, colourful, well, mine's not colourful, but yours is, colourful chart like this. Okay, it's got defense mechanism, definition, and example. It's got seven different defense mechanisms. So I would like you to go through that in just a moment, but for now I'm just going to read you the definition of what a defense mechanism is. Defense mechanisms are strategies that help you protect yourself from difficult feelings. Using defense mechanisms occasionally can be helpful, but if you overuse them, you risk not learning how to express your true feelings. You may not develop the skills needed for good mental and emotional health. Some of the defense mechanisms that people use are ... and then guys, I want you to pause now and read the different defense mechanisms. Pause. We're pausing. Okay, so hopefully you've read now from displacement all the way down to rationalization. And of course there is an activity to go with it. On page 46 of your textbooks, there's a try it section. There are 7 scenarios, and I want you to identify which defense mechanism is used for each scenario. So it starts with number 1. Rose feels like she's not as pretty as other girls, so she tends to be overly friendly and outgoing. Which one do you think that is? Guys, do number 1 to number 7, please. You can pause the video now and do it. Okay, so guys, let's reflect on what we've just done. Olive, do you use defense mechanisms? I know I do. If so, which ones do you use the most? Identify one and what steps you could take to limit your use of this defense mechanism. Responding to difficult emotions may include feeling bad or emotional. These feelings, though, are normal and can be managed. Some techniques to reduce the intensity of your emotions include taking several deep breaths, relaxing your muscles, getting away from a situation until you calm down. This one I think I use quite a lot. If I am having a heated discussion with my husband and I think, oh, this isn't productive, then I think I need to take a few minutes to calm down to then approach it again. Otherwise, I will lash out in anger and then it's not very productive. Some people, my mum in particular, finds that journaling helps her to analyze her emotions. What do I mean by journaling? Writing a diary. So nothing, she's like, dear diary, today this happened. She just writes down her emotions and then she's able to look at them and go through them and analyze them and see how she can get better from them for the next time. And another way, which I think pretty much, well, lots of people find useful, myself included, is just talking to someone that you trust about the way you feel. So they are some little things that can help. Guys, it is not just Brazil that is self-isolating, as you all well know. The rest of the world is as well. So at the end of the slides for today, slide 26, I've put a little link to a YouTube video, which is he's a famous online instructor. He's well known for doing healthy meals in less than 15 minutes. Now, because of what's going on around the world, lots of kids are staying at home and they're not getting the same amount of activity they usually would. So he's put together a little workout class for kids and teenagers and parents too. So if you want to get moving, if you're fed up of sitting down, have a watch. He has got quite a strong accent, so don't worry if you don't understand straight away. You'll get it eventually. So this is the link here. Joe, he's a great guy. Have a watch. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully I will see you all tomorrow, guys. Remember, 2:45 till 3 p.m. Google Meets. If you have any questions about last week's class or this week's class, this is the place where you can ask me. Please have your microphones on mute, and only when you want to say something do you unmute them, okay? I haven't done Google Meets of a class yet, so you'll be my first one. Very exciting. Again, if you have questions, I put a link on Classroom. Access it there. Okay, bye.